Another case of bad parents.
2K. I don't have to put that on, right? Like it could just make it seem okay.
Yeah.
So I'm playing 2K. He eats. He's perfectly fine. I obviously check on him back and forth as I'm playing.
Yeah.
So you was losing.
It was different this time because he didn't vomit.
This is 23-year-old Andrew Lynn Martin talking with police about events that unfolded on January 8th, 2020. The day
Yeah, what the fuck? I'm looking. He just casually got a fucking sniper rifle in the back of his door. Y'all see that shit?
month-old son, Zayden Martin, tragically died. As he recounts the morning, Andrew appears calm. He explains to detectives that this was the first time he'd been solely responsible for caring for Zayden, as his girlfriend Michelle, the baby's mother, had recently found a job and was starting work.
Wow.
According to Andrew, at some point that morning, Zayden began to drift off to sleep, so he decided to put him in his cot and went on to play on his Xbox. Then, during a round of checkups, he claims that he found Zayden gasping for air. Moments later, ladies and gentlemen, Zayden supposedly stopped breathing altogether, and that's when Andrew panicked, attempted CPR, and then contacted family, who told him to call emergency services. Once they arrived, life-saving measures were attempted. However, Zayden was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at hospital.
Terrible.
Yeah, no, normally he was vomiting from the last couple months, and now he stopped the vomiting process. So he was still burping, but he wasn't, vomiting, and all of it was coming out of him onto his Pampers and onto his body like that. So.
And so that's been more of a change.
It's been more of a change over time, but it was a good change. It wasn't a bad change.
Gotcha.
It went from bad to good. So I picked him up, made sure everything was okay. I burped him like this. He burped perfectly fine. Everything was good. I decided to wrap him up, swallow him up. So I picked him up. He was good. He looked like he was falling asleep over here, which is why I made the decision to put him in his room. I don't normally keep him out here. It's not a comfortable position.
Yeah.
Took him over here, which is where he normally has his pillow, which is out there.
Yeah. So he had that pillow. You had him swallowed.
He had his pillow. He has swallowed. He swallowed. He was up in a position kind of like this.
Okay.
Which is when I laid him down.
Gotcha.
Straight up, perfect. Had his binky. He was okay. Went outside. I continued to play my Xbox. When I came back in the room to check on him, his head was twisted this way towards the road.
I don't know if it's just me, but I don't think a baby this young should be left alone in a room. Like they got their own room, sleeping in their own room. Nah, if you with your kid, you can have him right there with you. Just don't be as loud. You feel me?
Right, facing the window. Still swaddled up, and he was doing the gasping thing.
Okay. And now you had heard that from the living room?
No, I just came in to check on him. I was just making sure he was okay.
Okay.
So when I came in here, I heard him doing the gasping. I picked him up. After I picked him up, I unwrapped him. I started beating on his back to make sure he wasn't choking on anything. Yeah. And he was on this side of my shoulder, so I was like this. I faced him to me, which is when I saw him turning purple and blue, not breathing. I called Sarah. I had my phone on me. I came out of his room because obviously not.
Why you didn't call the cops first?
I brought him out to the living room. She told me to lay him down on a flat surface, so I brought him right here in the middle. She told me to put one hand under his neck, kind of like this. So I had him like this, kind of levitated with his head tilted back.
Right. 2
fingers just in the middle of his cervix, I believe is what it was called. And it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and just until his chest rised. But it wasn't immediately, 1, 2, 3, 4. I did that. It was the 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of like 5 or 6 times, and then she told me do the 2 breaths just until his chest rises. Okay. Which is when the deputy came. I had to leave him here because my door was locked. So I left him here. I got up. I ran to the door, unlocked the door. The deputy came in running behind me, I believe with an EKG. I ran next to him on this side. Now I'm on this side. He's over here. I'm continuing to do the CPR as I was instructed. So as soon as he ran in the door, I let her know, and that's when we stopped contact, and he picked him up and ran out the door with him.
Gotcha.
Wow.
All right. Perfect.
That gotta be one of the worst calls as a cop. You arriving on a scene and there's a fucking infant not breathing.
Appreciate you going through this with us again.
What Andrew didn't know was that by this point, detectives already considered him a potential suspect. Why? Well, surprise, surprise, Zayden hadn't simply stopped breathing due to some kind of medical emergency. The circumstances surrounding the death were already suspicious, but when investigators received confirmation that the cause was ruled as a homicide, their suspicions intensified. Let's just say the medical findings were deeply concerning. At the time of his death, Zayden had bleeding and swelling in and around his brain, hemorrhaging around his spinal cord, and was bleeding in both eyes, injuries commonly associated with severe head trauma. In addition, doctors discovered he had multiple fractured ribs. Some were recent, others were already in the process of healing. Medical professionals confirmed that Zayden's bones were healthy, again ruling out any underlying disease that could have caused spontaneous fractures. The pattern, severity, and varying stages of these injuries pointed to repeated physical trauma, not a single accident. This was no isolated incident. In fact, it suggested Zayden had been hurt multiple times in the weeks leading up to his death. After months of investigation, one final interview with Andrew was scheduled in. Police were ready to charge him with manslaughter, but wanted to see if they could get a confession to solidify their evidence.
Right.
Up until this point, Andrew had maintained the same version of events across multiple interviews, likely an effort by investigators to test the consistency of his story. The same initially went for the final interview, but out of nowhere, he cracked.
So there was obviously...
It just sound like he be raging. Like he'll probably be playing the game, losing, and he'll take his rage out on a baby. Like, how can you do that to a baby, bro? It's a baby. If you get mad, why not go punch a wall? Why not go do something else? But to hit the baby is crazy work.
The autopsy.
Correct.
There was a skeletal exam, which occurred after the autopsy, and there was we were waiting on toxicology for a while, and then there was another medical exam done by a neurologist, I believe. So we've gone through quite the battery of tests and examinations and things. But so there's still some unanswered questions based on what we observed ourselves, not just
Correct.
medical documents, because I attended the autopsy. He attended the skeletal exam. So I mean, this is stuff that's just not coming back on paperwork. It's something I physically observed myself,
Correct.
which wasn't a pleasant experience.
I have it.
So some of the things that were noticed were different stages of healing of fractures on his ribs. So this was would have been early on, like early,
Mm-hmm.
all the way till he passed away.
So
I don't know how to explain this.
yeah, because I'd like an explanation as to that, because
Right.
like I told you, when you guys first saw me that day there, never once in my life will I ever put my fucking hands on my kids, and I grab your... Alright? But my father, on the other fucking hand, beat me as a child. And that is the exact reason I told myself and promised myself and that woman sitting in that fucking house, I'd never do anything to that child. So for you to tell me that there's something wrong with his ribs, and that it was a process of healing, that's...
There was new, healing, and then old. So this would have been from essentially the start.
From when he was born.
Yeah. Not from birth though, because we have those medical records.
Okay, obviously.
Right. So some of the other
Don't play stupid, bro. You know when a girl leave, you probably be hitting that damn baby. She probably don't even know that you be hitting that baby.
concerns would be blood on his brain.
Blood in his brain.
Blood on his brain. And that would be from a traumatic event near
Falling,
the time of his
punching,
death.
hitting.
Like, anything traumatic?
What do you mean?
And like me yelling at a dog,
This would be
us fighting.
This would be a physical traumatic event. There was also linear bruising.
Did he just say, he just tried to say him yelling caused fucking bleeding on a baby head? Is he cool? Lock his ass up.
On his buttocks. Could be in the shape of a hand and fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And there was also bruising on his scrotum, so there was some sort of trauma to his lower end.
Okay.
And that would have been recent. Because if this would have occurred at your parents' house,
Yeah, it would have
been noticed.
Okay, so
one, you would have noticed it.
correct.
She would have noticed
So-
it. The doctor would have noticed it.
If there's anything on his butt, that possibly could have been me, maybe from
Okay.
when I was tapping him and shit, but not to the excess that I would leave a handprint on him. At least I don't believe I was
Right.
hitting him that hard. Was there anything on his back from where I was hitting him? Okay, so
This would be more of an isolated thing. It wouldn't be post-mortem, which is post-death. This would have been before that.
okay.
So that's why we're trying to figure out what occurred that morning that could have caused these injuries. Because it's something that we have to explain. It's something that, your family needs answers to. It's something that we have to figure out for
Correct.
Zayden. Okay, and unfortunately this case does not get closed until we figure that out.
Mhm.
This case doesn't go away.
He
We
raised
have
'cause he was
injuries
losing
that
the
we
2K.
need to get explained. Do I think anybody wanted to intentionally hurt this young child? No.
I mean,
But I think so.
I don't want to believe that I hurt his ribs,
Mhm.
genuinely, like from the way I grabbed him or anything.
Mhm.
And I don't believe I did grab him rough at all, or from whatever happened in that morning from when I grabbed him, if I did anything wrong to him, because I don't remember him hitting anything. I don't remember anything of that sort to cause a traumatic experience, other than maybe from when I ran around the house with him, or if I set him down on the floor too hard, or if I grabbed him too hard. Those are the only things that I could possibly think of that would do those things to him.
The extent of the injuries, it would be a noticeable event. It would be something that you would say, yeah, I recall that. It was
Right.
It's something that would have been significant. So it's not from CPR.
The baby probably kept crying because the ribs still was hurting, but they was healing. The baby probably kept crying and won't stop crying. He probably started hitting the baby, telling the baby to shut up. That's probably what happened.
It wouldn't be from back pats, because if it was from something like that, that would have been, a more widespread bruising.
When detectives spoke with Andrew and Michelle's families, they learned that the couple had a history of heated arguments. According to relatives, those disputes sometimes escalated into physical confrontations. Not completely battering each other, but not just in each other's faces either. Family members also added that Andrew tended to become angry over minor inconveniences, especially when he was tired. And under both circumstances, if Zayden needed attention, Andrew could be extremely heavy-handed with him. With this information, detectives began forming a theory that Andrew more than likely killed Zayden due to this rough handling, and so that's why they pressed for the manslaughter charge. Watch how they continued to push him from that angle and finally managed to get a confession out of him.
2-3 hour window then of what possibly.
At least he
could explain
confesses.
those injuries. Because like I said, we were present for all these different things. It's not, and I know when we first spoke, we're like, well, sometimes there's SIDS or something of that nature, but that's not the case. There is a known cause and manner of death, and that was listed as some kind of blunt force trauma.
As blunt force trauma, which does not make any fucking sense to me. So,
Wait, let me say something real fast, okay? I don't want you to think that we brought you and Michelle down here to point the finger at either of you and say you.
well, I mean, my
intentionally-
whole family's doing it, so
Well, just
that's
listen,
kind of what it
just-
feels like,
just-
and I'm
okay.
honestly about to get an attorney.
Okay, just listen to me.
Because I'm not liking it. I'm feeling attacked the same day I was feeling attacked the day you guys came. I couldn't see my son in the ambulance because you guys wanted to question me. You questioned me. I gave you your answers that you wanted and you needed. Because I'm trying to help you understand what happened to my son. Because I want to understand what happened to my son, and she needs to understand what happened to my son because she needs to stop stressing out.
Okay, then all I can ask you to do is sit here and try to help us. I will explain everything to you as I'm trying to. I'm not attacking you. I'm going to tell you the utmost truth of what I have and what he has, and explain that there's only technically one or two things that could have happened.
Right.
Okay?
You hit the baby, bro.
All right, when I spoke to you in the car, the ambulance was not there. I didn't keep you from being in an ambulance. Okay, they wouldn't have allowed you in the operating room where he was at. They wouldn't have allowed that. All right, and I explained that to you there.
Just don't understand.
The detective explained Zayden had some linear bruising on his butt and down by his scrotum. More than likely, it probably could have been caused from the same strike. He could have been sat down super hard on something. I can't tell you that, okay? Because I'm not there. All right? But these injuries that occurred, that we found, injuries to his brain,
My question is, did the mom start noticing any bruising when she was changing the baby? Was she noticing little things? Like, why did she say something?
okay? The blood on his brain, and some of these broken ribs happened sometime that morning. Okay, there's only 2 of you there that morning. I don't think either you or Michelle hurt him at all intentionally to cause harm to Zayden. I don't think that.
I don't genuinely recall anything happening. I can't remember if we set him down too hard, I set him down too hard. I don't know. I don't remember anything. I mean, like, no, nothing. So there's a possibility that those injuries on my son are from me, from grabbing him too hard, if we did have a fight. Because we did have problems, obviously, when he was born. I did pick up Zayden a little too rough sometimes. Obviously not on that day, you know, and obviously, like you said, I was frustrated and stuff, but it was never intentionally to hurt him or anything. It was just out of anger, and, you know, I did grab him a couple times too hard and pick him up a little too fast, but again, I never did anything intentionally to hurt him.
We don't think that.
I did pick him up, you know, rough sometimes, and I was rough around him. You know, like I was screaming around him a lot, and she told me to stop doing that because that's also a traumatic thing. And I really should have listened, and I didn't. Like, the holes in our house are from my anger. So
he was punching
Andrew,
walls.
understand, we don't think you're a bad guy, Andrew. We're just trying to...
I love my son.
Andrew, I would never question that. I would never question
I want him back. I want him back, dude.
So his head didn't hit like his skull wasn't crushed. His skull like wasn't deformed. It wasn't. He didn't hit his head on something like hard. Now, like when we said there's blunt force trauma, that means a wide variety.
A punch?
It's not like at CSI where it was like, you know, the candlestick in the
I understand. Yeah,
kitchen or something. So, but what could have happened
A slap?
is if there's that level of
Could it be-
frustration
could it be
and he
from-
was put down too hard even on a soft surface.
I was gonna say, could it be from being picked up as well? If I picked him up too hard?
Possibly. Did something happen before you put him down
No.
after feeding?
No, I just put him down. I remember putting him down perfectly fine, but in the morning when I did go to feed him, I did pick him up. Not as soft as I normally did. And in that moment, I kind of did feel like I did something wrong, but he was perfectly fine. Because when I picked him up, it picked him up and his neck was like that. It did like jolt back, and I caught it with my hand, and he seemed fine. That's why I didn't mention it.
How were you feeling that morning? I mean, it was.
I was
Just an angry,
scared of being alone
emotional ass man.
with him. I didn't want to be alone with him, you know, like, but I knew she had to go to work and make money to take care of him, obviously, because my parents and her parents are going to take care of him forever. I wasn't frustrated that morning.
Just tell the truth, bro. You was mad.
But you were scared.
And I rushed it. It's like this, but the inside's inverted, so it's more cushioning on the edges, and it's basically like he's laying on the wood.
In the center. Is that where you put him down too hard?
Damn, bro.
What happened after that?
My question is, why is he consulting a guy like that? He's rubbing his back. I mean, he's doing all to get the confession, but like, you should not have no sympathy for this guy. He did all that to a freaking newborn baby. Like, how can you have sympathy for a person like that?
He was fine. I changed him.
And I gave him his food. And then when he was done eating, that's when I burped him. Mm-hmm. And I brought him to his crib and I laid him down. And he was perfectly fine throughout all of that, and he didn't do anything. Did he cry at all? Not really.
Y'all think he's crying because the baby gone, or he's about to go to jail?
And he stopped when I gave it back to him.
He didn't cry anymore when you went and laid him down? Not even just a little bit?
No. I gave him his big key, and he was there. He looked up at me, and he was laying down. I didn't see any tears. I didn't hear him cry. I didn't hear like a whimper or a gasp or anything. I didn't hear anything. Was he more quiet than usual? There's a reason why I started going into his room every 5 minutes, is because he would always cry for attention. So,
And that made you
yeah,
angry.
He was a lot more quiet when I put him there. Okay.
Andrew, any reason you didn't tell me about the changing table and snatching him up out of bed the morning I spoke to you?
I'm scared. I don't want to get in trouble.
It's horrible going to jail for your own child's murder.
I love my son.
I'm not saying you didn't love him, but you knew you'd put him down too hard, right? Could have been something could have helped you that day.
Have you been worried about this? It didn't happen. What if I put him too hard down on the floor? When was that? Giving him CPR in the living room. I think I put him down too hard because of the panic.
At that
point, it was already too far. It wouldn't have.
Y'all think he gonna get life?
The circumstances and things that have unfolded and how the medical examiner ruled everything, okay? His death is listed as cause, blunt force trauma, and the manner is homicide. Okay? So what that means is there was an act that took place fraud by another person that led to his death. Okay? So what's going to happen next? You're going to be arrested for manslaughter. This is not murder. This is not you intended for this to happen. Okay. Okay.
Manslaughter still
This is
20
something.
years.
This is the beginning. It's not the end. Please get her. Please get her so she knows what's going on. Please get her.
we're telling her.
I will. I won't. Okay. So this is what's taking place. This isn't the end. This is the beginning. Okay. This isn't the end all be all. Okay. You understand? Okay.
Damn.
Alright. Do me a favor. Stand up for me.
After accepting a plea deal of no contest for aggravated child manslaughter and aggravated child abuse, Andrew Martin was sentenced to 25 years in prison.
Damn, 25. They gave him 25. I thought manslaughter, the highest penalty was 20. Damn, they gave him 25. Well, you know, this is why you gotta control your emotions. Don't fucking hit on babies and don't be so rough with babies. If you mad, just step away. You know, do something else, bro. Don't hurt your baby, bro. Sis. But y'all like the video, subscribe. I appreciate it. And I'll see y'all in the next one.